There I am. All right. Let me see. Can you guys see me? Am I there? Let me see if I can find myself here. What a debacle. I tell you what. I was trying to use a new streaming software, and it was supposed to be like super easy to use, all right? Like barely an inconvenience. And I got it all set up before I went live, and for some reason it wasn't showing my picture. So I think we're live now. I think we're showing up. Okay, it says nobody's in there. Let me see if I can get there. Okay, there it is. Okay. All right, I can see myself. Okay, we're live. Goodness. What a debacle. Okay. Hold on, give me just a second here. Man, I got so flustered trying to get this whole thing figured out that I forgot what I was doing. Yeah. So what happened was I was using this new streaming software that was supposed to be super easy, barely an inconvenience, because I wanted to show some photos tonight. I wanted to show some pictures during my stream, and I got it all set up. I went through it, I tested it, and the only thing I didn't do with it, because I wasn't ready to go live yet, was go live. So I didn't go live with it. And I thought, okay, it's all set up. Like I've got my pictures and everything set up the way I need them. And as soon as I went live, it was just showing like the logo of the software. So I don't know what I didn't do. I don't know what I did wrong. I messed with it. So here we are. It's like 20 minutes late for the event. I'm sure I've lost some interest. I'm sure some people have decided not to partake because I wasn't here on time. I understand. It's completely understandable. It's my fault. I was using equipment that or software that I was unfamiliar with. So that is on me. I wasn't ready as ready as I thought I was anyway. So anyway, guys, welcome. This is the Alaska Watch podcast. Is the podcast about all things cryptid in the great state of Alaska. Occasionally, we talk about other stuff, other things. As you can tell, I've got my winter beard growing in. I usually let my facial hair and the hair on my head grow during the winter time. It helps keep my head warmer when I'm out and about, and I don't get out that much anyway, so it doesn't matter. Come summertime, I'll trim it up just a little bit, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so welcome. This is my studio. It's a little dark and dim right now, but the light's behind me, so if I turn it on, it'll make me look like I've got like a halo or something behind me. So it doesn't look like we have anybody in here yet, but yeah. So I'm not super familiar. I've done a couple of live streams before, but I've never really done one like this. First off, by myself, and second of all, like just a regular podcast kind of live stream. So you might see me like clicking around. I might be looking for some notes or some pictures or something I want to share. When I do show some pictures, I'm gonna kind of get a little super descriptive about them because obviously there's going to be a listening audience to the audio portion of this, and they're not going to be able to see it. So anyway, guys, welcome. I live in Alaska, and we've got a nice winter day going. It's snowing. We're supposed to get about 3 inches of snow today, which is fine. It's winter. It's going to be what it is. And yeah, this is new. This is new to me. I had a person one time say, "Hey, you need to check out this this podcast. It's a live podcast. They do it on YouTube, and I think you really like it." So I thought, yeah, I'll check it out. It was a Bigfoot podcast. I'm like, I'll check it out. I like anything Bigfoot. And it was a live podcast, but it was they recorded it and then like released it onto YouTube. So it had been recorded sometime before. And I'm anything Bigfoot I'm in for, so I was like, I'll give it a try. So I turn it on, and the guy is the host is sitting there, and he's as people enter the chat, he's going, hey Paul, hey Rick, hey Stan, hey Jimmy, hey Darla, hey Carl, and he's just going on and on like that. And I'm like, well, it's okay, it's the start of the stream. It's gonna take a while to get going. So I I I fast forward. I fast forwarded like 20 minutes in or something, and he's still doing that. He's like, "Hey Billy, oh there's Roger. Roger, Roger's mom works as a nurse at one of the local hospitals. And he's just still going on." And I'm like, when are they going to get to the subject? Like, when are they going to talk about Bigfoot? And it was pretty much just him interacting with the listeners the entire time. So I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. Not my thing. I do try and plan on interacting with the listeners a little bit, or the watchers, streamers. I don't know, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, if it's if it's conducive to the show, or it has something to do with what we're talking about. So tonight's subject. Wait, I want to make sure check my talking notes. Yeah. Tonight's subject, we're going to be talking about basically the recent insurgence of AI art. In case there's anybody out there that doesn't know what it is, or even AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and more than likely, if you're on this platform, if you're listening to this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on a podcatcher, or basically anytime, as long as you're not sitting in the room with me listening to me speak this physically, you are more than likely interacting with some type of AI. There was probably some type of artificial intelligence algorithm that said, hey, this person likes podcasts about Bigfoot, or this person likes podcasts about Alaska. Let's recommend this to them. So more than likely, whether you know it or not, somehow or another, AI has been in your life. If you've ever done like a help chat at like Amazon or eBay or any of the like major retailers, Walmart probably, there has probably not been a live person on the other end of the line. And says my connection is not that good. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get I can't get any closer to the router right now. And usually, my connection is always usually pretty good down here. That's weird. I wonder if it's got something to do with the weather, because it is snowing right now. Anyway, yeah. So you more than likely you've dealt with AI and you didn't know it. I saw a funny screenshot the other day. It was somebody that was on a chat with I think it was PayPal or something, and they had the AI, the help bot was like, "What can I help you with today?" And the person said, "I got scammed," and the bot goes, "Great!" It was like an explanation point. So that was that's pretty funny. It's kind of an example of how AI can be helpful, but it at the same time, like, it's not human. It doesn't know, like, when you say I got scammed, it's not like, oh no, that's bad. It's just like, okay, let's see if we can help with this problem. Great. So yeah, it can be frustrating dealing with AI. A lot of the algorithms that pick videos and stuff for you, Netflix, all that stuff, probably all powered by AI. And a lot of times, I know growing up in the 80s, when I think AI, I'm thinking like Terminator, Skynet, something like that, something bad, something that's going to like take over the planet, something that's going to gain awareness, it's going to kill us all. And I think that's probably it's probably possible. But I think as long as we use it, like all things, if you use it in moderation, I think it probably won't be that bad. If you use AI just for, hey, we're gonna create this AI program and it's gonna do this and that's all it's gonna do, hey, great. You know. And the AI art trend has really caught on. And what the AI art is there's a just a list of these AI bots. You can go to these different websites and apps. I have an app that I use for my AI art stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you go in and basically you can type out in a prompt. You can type out what you want. Like you can say, draw me a picture of mountains and a sunrise coming up over the mountains in Norway or Alaska or something. And the bot will take a few minutes and it will draw you, it'll scour the internet and it'll find examples of what you want and it will draw an interpretation of what you asked it to do. Some of them are a little bit better than others. Some of them it kind of takes a little bit of finesse, I think, to figure out how to work them. There's certain, I think, details and certain idiosyncrasies that you can put in your prompts to maybe get it a little bit better, to look a little bit more realistic, to look a little more to your liking. The one that I use, you can actually choose from art styles and artists that you prefer, and it will try and draw what you want in the style of that artist. Um, and honestly, AI art it's caused a little bit of a stir, a little bit of controversy. Artists, people that normally, let's say you want to make a cover for a book or something, and you would need normally, if you wanted to use a drawing, you'd have to go to an artist and you'd have to say, hey, can you please uh, draw this for me? You have to commission that artist to draw what you want and then pay them for their time and their effort. Well, with the AI art now, there's kind of it's basically it might be kind of cutting into that a little bit. People are worried, artists, the starving artists are worried they're going to be more starving because they're not going to have, that's my dog. They're not going to have that. People aren't going to have to come to them and ask for art anymore. They can just go and have a computer draw it for free or cheaper. So that's kind of the concern with the AI art. In fact, there's a there's a famous comic book artist who posted something to Twitter, and it was basically a hand given the middle finger, and it said FAI art or something like that. And it was funny because if you look at the hand he drew given the finger, it was all like there was like too many fingers, and it was all kind of deformed, and there was like instead of 5 fingers, there was like 8. I don't want to flash my middle finger, but there was more fingers than necessary. We'll just put it that way. And that was intentional because a lot of times, one of the telltale signatures for AI art is, for whatever reason, it can't quite grasp the concept of fingers, of digits, and even in toes. So a lot of times when you look at something that was AI generated, it will look amazing. It'll look awesome, but there'll be like a problem with the hand. Like the hands will be backwards, or there'll be too many fingers, or the fingernails will be on the inside of the fingers, something like that. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's weird, and from what I understand, AI is supposed to be able to learn. So I would think at this point, I would think that it would be able to like figure it out like what hands look like, but apparently not. And I've got some examples. Hopefully, I can show those two here um, here in just a minute, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I wanted to let me check my notes here. I'm sorry. Yeah. So we're going to get into how does this affect the Bigfoot community? Well, I mean, obviously, anytime any kind of new technology comes along, somebody is going to adapt it into their genre of interest. And a lot of times, um, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking that as a researcher, as an investigator, somebody that looks for Bigfoot, I'm wondering like how can I incorporate AI art into my search for Bigfoot? And one of the best examples that I can think of that a researcher would use AI art for would almost be as a sketch artist. So, say you've got I can't draw. I can't draw. No, I can't draw for shit. Okay, like I can barely draw a circle. I can barely draw a straight square. Um, so as somebody that can't draw, and I had a witness that had maybe a good um, close-up encounter or view, I would think, okay, maybe I can use this AI art for them to explain what they saw, generate an image of it, kind of like a sketch artist, and then we'll have a picture of what they saw. So that's how an ethical person would think of this new technology. Maybe there might be some other applications for it, but for me, that's the first one that came to my mind. Maybe it's because I was in law enforcement. I don't know, but of course, as soon as something like that comes out, you know, you're going to have your people that aren't so ethical, or maybe you're seeking attention, and they're going to try and come up with a way to use this basically for their own nefarious purposes or greed. And so far, I think it's already happened. I think people have already started to use the AI art to try and hoax Bigfoot pictures. There's a picture that was going around here just recently. I saw it on a Bigfoot group that I'm in, and somebody had posted it. And of course, people were like, that's real, that's legit, I believe it. And it's an AI generated image. And let me see. I'm going to try and show it to you here. All right. Mhm. All right. So you can see my screen here. Let's go to this. So this picture here, this thing. So this was posted in a Bigfoot group, and people were commenting on it, saying, "Oh my God, it's legit, it's real, it looks good to me." And what we're seeing here, I forgot that there's a audio audience that's not seeing this. So basically, this is a picture. There's a forest scene here, and there's a creature. I mean, it's framed right in the middle of the picture. It's hairy. It's on two legs. It's got kind of a frizzy hairdo. Uh, the thing about it, though, I mean, for me, and it looks good. I'm not saying it's it's horrible. I mean, as a piece of art, I guess it's pretty good. But for me, for my opinion, for a real drawing or a real picture, I mean, there's some problems with it. First off, I mean, it looks kind of like a Muppet. The mouth's open. I think there's kind of basically where the mouth is and where the eyes are. They're just black holes, lifeless eyes, like doll's eyes. So there's black holes for eyes. There's like a black strip for the mouth. I mean, it does look ape-like. It looks like a cross between a ape and a Muppet. And again, like I was saying with about the hands and the hands and the feet just don't look right. Um, I don't know. There's just something not right with them. It looks like there's maybe too many fingers on this hand. this hand looks bigger than this hand. You can't see. You can see like the left. Is that the left or the right? You can see like the left leg of it, and it looks like the toes are like. You can't really even see the toes. It looks like it's got like a cross between like hooves and toes. You can't see the leg behind the leg that's in front. The leg is too skinny, in my opinion, for the height of this creature. The proportions look a little bit off. One arm looks like it might be longer than the other one. I mean, a lot of red flags, a lot with this picture. And I will say one thing for it: the background for this photo looks pretty good. It looks kind of photorealistic. There is a problem with this tree. There's a tree in the background here. It's kind of a large tree, and there's kind of a problem with it. It looks like there's like a brown stripe going through the middle of the tree, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like bark missing, or I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It's kind of funny looking. It doesn't quite look. It doesn't look right, but otherwise, the rest of the background here, in my opinion, looks pretty good. You just kind of got like a green hilly area in the back, and then this flat, like forest littered floor here where the creature's standing. But again, the creature just doesn't look right. There's just something off about him. The eyes aren't right. He's got like a frizzy fro kind of hairdo. The proportions are off. The hands are off. There's just not right about it. And this picture was making the rounds. I think I found where it came from. I'm not 100% sure. But basically there's a streamer that I think he streams on YouTube, and he posts a lot of like park ranger story. Park ranger tells a story of this or that, and I'm it sounds like creepypasta to me. Like I listened to one of his videos, and it was supposed to be an encounter that happened to a police officer, and there was just some red flags in it to me that didn't make it sound legit. He's got a ton of videos, and that photo was posted as one of his like little shorts on YouTube Shorts, and regrettably, I saw that had like 1 million views. And the story behind it, the narration behind the photo, was that it had been captured by a trail camera, I think in Minnesota, one of those M states, Missouri, Minnesota. I don't know. They're all the same. That's going to piss somebody off. And, again, there's some red flags with it because obviously it doesn't look like a trail camera photo to me. Most trail cameras have some kind of data strip or something on it. That one did not. And again, it just doesn't look photorealistic. Sections of it certainly do, but other parts of it just do not look real. And regrettably, there's some people out there that that are saying, "Hey, that looks legit. It looks real to me." I don't know. I mean, I think you guys that are watching this, you probably know me. Like I'm a pretty grounded researcher. I try to keep an open mind, but I'm not like, I don't just believe everything. I've kind of got 3 classifications of evidence. I have good evidence, I have maybe evidence, and I have no evidence, which is like hoax, misidentification, something like that. And, for a lot of people, it just takes, there's such a confirmation bias when it comes to Bigfoot. They just want to believe anything. The picture I just showed pops up, and they're like, that's a Bigfoot or real, therefore that's a Bigfoot. And I mean, that's not really how it works. I had those of you that know me know that I worked as a career in law enforcement, and basically, the side, you got to treat it like a court case. The side that's making the claim that's where the burden of proof is. So like if I make an accusation, if I'm making a claim against you, if I say, hey, you stole something or you did this, it's up to me to prove it. I have to prove it. I have to produce the evidence to prove that you did what I say you did. So if somebody says Bigfoot exists, you got to show me. If you throw a picture up like that, say that's a Bigfoot, I'm going to say, prove it. And a lot of times, I can't. There's problems with the photograph. It doesn't look right. It doesn't match up with a lot of witness encounters, and I just gotta discount it. It goes in the no evidence pile. And for a lot of people too, like I do, I have basically like I have my 3 tiers of evidence. I also have, I have three home runs basically for me to put something in the good evidence stack. And it doesn't necessarily all have to be, I can't say like, oh, one of them is like it occurred in an area where there's a history of encounters, which that is one of them, but they're not all like, it's not boom, boom, boom. There could be, they could wax and wane depending on the circumstances. But I like to have at least 3 good foundations for anything that I put in my good evidence pile. And honestly, there's not a lot in there. And there's a couple of things that I've put in my good evidence pile that have gone into the no evidence pile, that has gone into like the hoax pile. If you guys know, what's his name? The Squatch Detective. He does a lot of videos where he will debunk things like pictures and videos. And I think he does good work. And a lot of people get aggravated with him because he's debunking these things. And, they get mad at him. But I think it's important work. Somebody's got to do it. And there's that confirmation bias, and some people's confirmation bias is so strong they get angry. They get angry with people that basically interfere with it. That say, oh, well, that's probably not true. I remember I was in a Facebook group and somebody had posted a picture of a alleged Bigfoot, and it was just go to Amazon, type in Bigfoot costume, and you'll see the brown costume with he's kind of got the receding hairline Bigfoot. It's like the first thing that pops up, I think, to like $100. And that's what it was. I mean, it was that costume. And I basically copied a link to the costume in the comments and was like, I think this is probably a costume. And one of the not the lady that posted the picture, somebody else got aggravated with me and is like, why, if you don't believe, why are you here? And I'm like, well, because I don't like to be lied to. Like, why are you mad at me for telling you this is fake? Like, you should be like, oh, good looking out. But some people's confirmation bias is so strong. What's the saying? Like, it's easier. How does it go? It's easier to convince somebody of a lie than to convince them they've been lied to. I think that's the quote, something like that. Same goes for Bigfoot. I've seen instances where something gets called out as a hoax, or somebody admits a hoax. And that's one for me. Like, in my opinion, for me, when it comes to the evidence tier, if the person involved in it says it's fake, it's fake. End of story. Put it away, file it. And I'll see a lot of people when somebody admits to a hoax or admits to faking something, a lot of people make excuses as to why it could still be real. And that is just, that's a form of mental gymnastics that I will never understand. Because I want this to be real so bad, even though the person that created it is admitting that it's not real. I'm going to cling on to that. It's real in my head. You can't take that away. Like, even though the person says, "Oh no, that was a hoax. We were doing that for fun." There's those people like, "Oh, the government told them, the government told them to admit it was fake." So I don't know, guys. I don't know how to fix that. I mean, it's basically you're dealing with people's ideologies. You can't pry them away from those deep seated beliefs, I guess. But let me see. I'm running behind here because I couldn't get the stream going when I wanted to. Let's take a look at a couple more pictures here. I'm gonna share my screen here. It's gonna take just a second. All right. So I'm not sure where this came from. It's a random AI Bigfoot that I ran across. It's pretty good. It's certainly better than the other one, I would think. Only again, you've got this, there's just something not right about him. You know, he doesn't quite match in with the lighting of the scene. Again, it looks like it's a photorealistic background. You've got your woods, you've got, greenery. And the one thing I'll say about this is this guy here. Oh, there goes my dog again. Sorry about that. From what I can see, the hands and feet look pretty good. I don't see any extra digits. I don't see any extra fingers, anything like that. You've got the conical head, kind of. You've got like a sloping brow ridge here. It looks pretty good. But again, it just doesn't look right. There's just, if somebody's an artist, they could probably chime in and say why the lighting doesn't look right. He looks a little, he or she, I can't tell. It's kind of, so for those of you that are just listening to audio and can't see what I'm seeing, it's just a picture of a Bigfoot facing away from the camera, kind of maybe giving a glance barely over his left shoulder there as he's walking away. And this one, the proportions look a lot better than the other one. I would definitely, I would say this one is more legit than the other one, the Muppet Bigfoot. But again, there's just some problems with it. The hair looks kind of fake. It doesn't look legit. I would definitely go with art though, and not costume. It definitely looks more like something that was drawn. Again, I'm not a trained artist, so I can't sit here and say oh, the shading here and the shading doesn't match that. But I guarantee you, somebody somewhere is going to look at that and say that is a real picture of a Bigfoot. But you know what, guys? I'm going to show you something here. Check this out. So what I'm going to show you here, and I have permission to use this by the artist. This is Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, done by the amazing Rob Menzies. He owns the Bigfoot Art Gallery in Palmer, Alaska. Check them out. They're on Facebook. They're on the web. He's actually, I believe, he is in Alaska Coastal Sasquatch that Small Town Monsters just put out. I believe you can watch that on YouTube. And he's a great artist, and he's really interested in Bigfoot. And he took this. Basically, this is, I think it's frame 352 from the PG film, and I think this is where the confusion comes in, because he's posted it and he says it's cleaned up. And I mean, what he did basically is he used the footage from the video, and he kind of added some detail as to what Patty probably looks like. And it's a super realistic drawing. It's like it's a portrait. And in fact, I have the there's a larger version which actually shows her from the head down to about the waist, and I have that version hanging up in my office here, just a few feet from me. But this one is just the face with the head and a little bit of she doesn't have a neck, but you get the idea. And I know if you're into Bigfoot at all, you've probably seen this. It gets rolled out every year toward the end of October, around the anniversary of the PG film. And people will say this is a frame from the film, like an actual frame that somebody CSI'd and made into an image. But and it kind of is. I mean, he used Patty from the film as a base. Again, but a lot of these details are his own artistic interpretations of what Patty probably looks like. And this gets passed around a lot as legit. And people cut see his signature down here, Rob Roy Menzies. People will crop that off and say that's a photograph. And I know that aggravates him to no end. It's kind of like I'm definitely not an artist, but I do produce memes. I make some pretty funny Bigfoot memes sometimes, and I love when people share them. I love it. I wish people would share them far and wide, but it drives me crazy when people either rub out my logo, my podcast logo on there, and it drives me crazy because people will either crop out my logo or they'll cover it up. And I know it's on the internet. Why am I getting upset about it? But it's like my first day on the internet. But yeah, and in my opinion, it's it's kind of like, it's almost like theft, even though you're probably not really gaining anything from it other than maybe attention. We're going to go one of these days. I'm going to have a show about hoaxing, and we're going to talk about how hoaxing is a form of theft because it's basically stealing your time. But yeah, I mean, this is not AI generated art. This is good old, hand produced art by Rob Roy. Actually, I don't know if he drew it by hand. He might have drawn it in like some kind of computer program or something. But this is good old fashioned art right here, and people have been saying that that's legit for a long time, long before AI art come around. So yeah, where are we at here? I think I've got maybe a couple more that I want to show here. Yeah, I've got one more that I want to show. This one is actually one that I commissioned, I guess. And that's another thing about AI art that we could get into is who owns it. From what I understand from the like 5 minutes of research I did on Google, the person that commissions the piece owns it, at least for now. I'm sure that's going to change. Some of these sites are going to find out ways to make money off of it. Like, if you want to download it, you got to pay something like that. You got to pay for the rights or licensing. I'm sure that's coming. But for right now, AI art's kind of the Wild West. So I had this done. You might recognize it from the thumbnail for this video. And what you're going to see here, this looks pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not photorealistic. I don't think anybody's going to look at that and say, that's a real Bigfoot. But if you look, from the head and shoulders up, that's pretty good art, right? I mean, it's pretty good drawing. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, oh, there's a Bigfoot. But again, like I was saying earlier, look at the hands, guys. Do you see? They're just off. There's something not right in the feet. I don't know what's going on with the feet. It looks like it's like the feet like meld into one like stump or something, and there's a foot going off this way and a foot going off that way. If you look at the hands, the right hand looks like maybe the thumbnail. There's a thumbnail there, but then you look at this hand, and that finger looks like it's either curled up and there's a problem with the knuckle, or there's a thumbnail where that's a really, really short finger. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of interesting how this AI art can't seem to get digits in hands. Yeah. But otherwise, it's a really good drawing. I'm really impressed with it. And this is the best one. I've been playing with this AI art thing for a little bit, not a lot. I haven't put a lot of time into it, but I have been, occasionally I'll get on there and I'll be like, draw me a picture of Bigfoot. I think for this one, I said, give me a picture of Bigfoot in Canada. And I think I did it in the style of like Alex Ross, who, if you're familiar with comic book art, Alex Ross is like really famous comic book artist that does like super realistic pictures of comic book heroes. Really beautifully painted artwork. And this is what it gave me. And so far, out of all my efforts, this is probably the best. And saying that, I mean, look at the flaws on it. Look at the hands, look at the whatever's going on with the feet or the leg. But this is the best one that I've had so far. At least I think like it looks like the arms are at least maybe the right length. Although this one looks thicker than that one. I don't know. It's hard to say. I just realized I'm not really describing these very well for the audio audience. This is a picture that I had generated, and basically it's a big brown Bigfoot standing in a snowy landscape, and like I said, he looks pretty good, except for, I mean, again, with the AI, there's just something wrong with the hands and feet. And here, if you guys can see that, that is Bill Sienkiewicz, his part of his little sketch there where he was saying his whole protest against AI art. You can see the hand, how there's too many fingers in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's the middle finger right there. So there's like 8 fingers on one hand. Again, kind of spotlighting AI art's problem with doing digits. Oh, hey, there's Karis. Hey, thanks for coming. So I had a problem with the streaming service that I was trying to use. I initially was trying to use a new platform to stream onto YouTube. Started it out, it would not work. Like there was no picture, and that was like the most important thing. I want to show pictures during this show, and for some reason I could not get it to work. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I probably just need to buckle down and buy a subscription to StreamYard. I guess, I don't know. That's what I get for trying to do it cheap, I guess. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's kind of what's going on with AI art and Bigfoot. And honestly, it's only going to get better. I think the art's only going to get better from here on. There's some people out there that are kind of they're spending a lot of time with it. They're figuring out how to tweak it. A lot of these can learn, and they're going to get better. In fact, let me show you. I think I've got it. I'm gonna share my screen with you here again. Yeah. So if you guys want to play around with AI art generators, these are some that you can use. Deep Dream Generator, Art Breeder, Stable Cog, Deep AI, Starry AI, which is what I used. That's an app. You can download it on your phone. Photar, Runway ML, Wombo Dream, WOMBO Dream. And the Starry AI, that's the one I use. It's an app. I downloaded it to my phone. And basically what it is, it's kind of almost like a game. Like they give you like a number of tokens. Like they give you like 4 or 5 tokens, and then you generate, you type in what you want it to draw. It draws it, and it gives you like 4. It does 4 versions of it. It'll draw 4 versions of what you want, and then it like takes away your coins. And then when you use all your coins, you have to either wait for it to generate more coins. Like I think you get like 4 coins every 24 hours or something like that, or you can buy coins. So I don't know how the other ones work. The only ones I've used is the Starry AI, and I think with enough practice, you could probably generate some pretty good stuff with it. You guys saw the one that I made. I didn't make it. The computer made it, but the one that I commissioned, that was given the information I gave it. And I think it looks pretty good, except for the flaws in the hands and the feet. But yeah, it's gonna be a problem, guys. As people get better with this AI art stuff, and it starts learning, We may reach a point where it's impossible to tell, photo or fake. Um, I don't know. And, before AI art, this kind of, that level of trickery with photography, it wasn't impossible. I mean, before computers, it certainly was much, much harder. But then when computers came along, Photoshop, stuff like that, people got a little bit better at it. But the thing is it's beyond a lot of people's skill level. I certainly have no skill when it comes to manipulating photographs. But as it gets things get easier and easier, like it's got to the point where you can just log on to one of these sites and you can type in like draw me a picture of this, and then you get a picture of that, and it's almost indistinguishable from reality. So it's going to get a lot harder, I think, here in the next, probably within the next 2 years, to tell AI art from reality. And we're going to go even further with it eventually. And I think this is already a thing. It just hasn't got to the level where it's available to the general public. You're going to be able to type out basically a movie. You're going to say, show me Bigfoot walking across, the Kenai River or something, and it's going to pop out a movie, and it's going to, it's going to look just like the PG film or better than the PG film. And now we're going to be having to contend with that. We're going to have to say, okay, well, is this a legit photo? Is it AI generated? People are going to be able to make deep fake videos. I'll be able to get on there and say, do a movie of Beans and Brad Pitt, playing ping pong, and it's going to generate a video of me and Brad Pitt playing ping pong. Although I don't know, that was a weird place to go, huh? That's probably some kind of Freudian thing. But yeah, so it's only going to get harder, folks. I think I'm not the one to do it. I don't have the patience or the skills to do it. But I'd really like to see somebody start a hoax database and start compiling some of these things that get debunked and putting them in a format where they can be easily searched. And we all see it, guys. We see every year, like some of the same photos and videos, they kind of creep back in onto the social media, and people get new into the subject and they find it and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this looks great, and they'll post it thinking it's the greatest evidence ever, and it was debunked a long time ago. And then you come on there and you say, hey, this is a hoax, this was debunked a while ago, and they go prove it. And you're like, well, I don't know where to find that. It was 7 years ago. I don't know where. I just remember it was debunked. I don't remember by whom or how. But yeah. All right, guys. I've been going for like a while here, so I think I'm going to call it good. Once I'm done, I believe this is going to be available on YouTube to watch in its entirety. Let me know what you thought about it. Was it all right? I know it was kind of bumpy. I had some problems getting started. I had some problems with the initial software that I was using there, and I think I'm going to uninstall that as soon as I am done here, because I was not happy with it. But I'm going to try and do this again. I'm going to try and maybe pick a theme, and maybe for a month and go with it. Do some lives on like hoaxing or something. But yeah, I think we'll try it again. Once I got going, I think I was okay, but holy cow, I think I was like 20 minutes late. So we'll definitely try again. Maybe once I get a little practice in. But yeah, and I'll keep putting out the audio podcast too. I love audio. I have a face for radio. If you guys are late, I explained I don't usually have this much hair. Generally, I keep especially my head hair cut very short. But in the wintertime, I kind of let it go, and I don't usually from about Octoberish to May. I don't shave or cut my hair. But yeah, it's keeps my head warm in the winter. So guys, if you want to support me, I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and share. I don't know for a fact, but I think this is one of the first shows where I talked about where people talk about AI and AI photographs being hoaxing Bigfoot. I'm not sure. I don't want to be like I was first, dagnabbit, but I haven't seen any. In fact, when I went to Google and typed in like AI Bigfoot hoax, this stream was the first result. So maybe just maybe I was the first. But yeah, like, subscribe, share. I'd like to get to the point where I can monetize the channel. Every penny that I get from Alasquatch, from the podcast, from the books I write, from the products I sell on the website, all that goes back into Bigfoot stuff. It gets me out into the field to look for Bigfoot. It gets me equipment to go look for Bigfoot. Every penny of it. I don't keep any of it. I don't pay any bills with that. That all goes towards Bigfoot stuff. If you want a cool hat like this that says Alasquatch Podcast, you can go to alasquatchpodcast.com and take a look at the items there and purchase any one of the books I've written. I will autograph those for you, send them to you. They're also available on Amazon.com. The AlasquatchPodcast.com website also has t-shirts, stickers, and some other cool little knickknacks that you can pick up. And I think that's it, guys. I think I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to go wait for my... Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I got a new puppy. He's not here right now. He is actually with my wife at puppy kindergarten, learning to do puppy stuff, I assume. And that's kind of why I took pretty much January off from the podcast, is because I have been wrangling puppies. We got him about the first week of January, and we've been working on getting him potty trained and just integrated into the house, and it's going pretty well. He's actually picking it up pretty quick, and I'm not sure if it's because we got two older dogs. I'm not sure if it's because he's like watching them and he's kind of picking up on what they're doing, or if he's just a genius. I'd like to say he's a genius, but I think he might just be watching the older dogs. And well, I think it's more like they teach him obedience. They teach him to sit. They socialize him a little bit. They take them and like have them walk on different surfaces. Like they'll put like some lattice, down on the ground and have them walk over that. Teach them different commands: sit, stay, leave it, wait, stuff like that. And I think tonight is the last class, so he's gonna be graduated at the end of the night, as long as he doesn't really mess up. I'm assuming they're going to give him a little diploma and everything. They did my other dog when he went through puppy kindergarten. It's really good for him. It gets them socialized and used to being around other people and dogs, and it's a good program. We're really lucky to have it here where I live. Anyway, guys, I am going to go and wait for my puppy to get home from school. That's a weird sentence, isn't it? And I will see you guys. I'm probably going to shoot for maybe around February 19th. We're going to have another live broadcast, hopefully, and I haven't decided on the subject, but I've got some ideas. And anyway, thanks for listening, however you found me, whether it was through YouTube or podcast or whatever. Really appreciate you, and appreciate your support. And I need to come up with a catchphrase. Something about it's the end of the show, but not the last frontier. Because Alaska, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll work on it. All right, guys. Good night, and thanks for watching.